The hallways of the Galactic Military Academy shone with a clinical brightness that bounced off the polished metal floors. Cadets of all species hurried between classes, a living rainbow of skin colors, heights, and body types from across the known universe. Tae-ho Kim walked with his books pressed against his chest. At 19, he was of average height for a human, which made him small compared to most alien species at the academy. His black uniform with blue trim marked him as a first-year tactical cadet, a rare honor for a human. "Move aside, dirt worlder," a deep voice growled from behind. Tae-ho stepped to the side, but not quickly enough. A large purple arm shoved him against the wall. His books scattered across the floor. He looked up to see a Vaxian elite soldier named Krill. The alien stood over 7 feet tall with bulging muscles visible under his decorated uniform. The insignia on his chest showed he was part of a visiting military delegation. "Sorry, sir," Tae-ho said, bending down to gather his books. Krill let out a laugh that sounded like rocks in a grinder. "Humans, so small and weak. How did your kind ever make it to the stars?" A small crowd of cadets gathered, sensing entertainment. Tae-ho saw faces from a dozen worlds watching, some concerned, others amused. "I asked you a question, human," Krill said, pushing Tae-ho's shoulder with one thick finger. "Persistence, sir," Tae-ho answered, maintaining eye contact despite the difference in height. "Humans are good at not giving up." The Vaxian's eyes narrowed. "Your kind does not belong here among real warriors. I hear you cannot even lift twice your body weight. My youngest children are stronger." Tae-ho remained silent, which seemed to anger the Vaxian more. "Today we observe combat training," Krill announced to the growing crowd. "Your combat instructor invited our delegation to watch your pathetic attempts at fighting. I look forward to your feedback, sir," Tae-ho said. The Vaxian's face darkened to a deeper purple. "Are you mocking me, human?" Before Tae-ho could answer, Krill's open hand struck his face with a crack that echoed through the hallway. The force knocked Tae-ho back a step, but he did not fall. A red mark spread across his cheek. The hallway fell silent. Even those alien species known for their love of conflict seemed shocked. Violence against cadets was forbidden at the academy. 2 instructors pushed through the crowd. "What is happening here?" demanded Professor Ziv, her insect-like mandibles clicking with agitation. Krill straightened his uniform. "Teaching respect to an insolent cadet." Commander Ji-Young Park, the only other human instructor at the academy, rushed to Tae-ho's side. "Are you all right, Cadet Kim?" Tae-ho nodded, his face calm despite the angry mark on his cheek. He glanced at his wrist device, then looked directly at Krill. 4 minutes, he said quietly. "What did you say?" Krill demanded. Tae-ho picked up his last book, tucked it under his arm, and repeated, 4 minutes, sir, that's all I needed to say." He turned and walked away through the parting crowd. Several cadets had recorded the incident on their devices. By lunchtime, everyone at the academy would know what had happened. "What did he mean by that?" one alien cadet asked another. An older Xanthan cadet with blue skin shook his head. "I do not know. But I remember the last time a human checked their watch after being threatened. It did not end well for the other side." As Tae-ho turned the corner, his calm expression never changed. But inside, his mind was already working on a plan. Commander Ji-Young Park found Tae-ho in the small meditation room reserved for human cadets. The room was designed to resemble a garden on Earth, with artificial sunlight and the sound of birds. Tae-ho sat cross-legged on a cushion, his eyes closed. "You should go to the medical bay," Ji-Young said. "That slap could have caused damage." Tae-ho opened his eyes. "I'm fine, Commander. Vaxians don't know human anatomy well enough to do real damage with just a slap." Ji-Young sat across from him. "The Academy Council is deciding what to do. Krill is an important guest, but he broke serious rules. I don't want to file a complaint," Tae-ho said. Ji-Young studied him closely. "What are you planning?" "I know that look. My brother had the same expression before he got into trouble." "Nothing against regulations," Tae-ho assured her. "Just a lesson about underestimating humans." Ji-Young sighed. "Tae-ho, you can't take on a Vaxian combat veteran. They're 3 times stronger than humans with natural armor. They've won wars against species that make them look small. Tejo smiled. Did you know that ancient human warriors once defeated enemies with much better weapons by using the weather and terrain against them? This isn't ancient Earth, Ji Young warned. No, Tejo agreed. But principles of warfare don't change just because we're among the stars now. His comm device buzzed. He checked the message and stood up. I need to go, Commander. My friends are waiting. Tejo, Ji Young called as he reached the door. Whatever you're planning, be careful. The Academy needs more human graduates, not fewer. Don't worry, he said. No one will get hurt. Not physically anyway. 30 minutes later, Tejo met with 3 other human cadets in an empty classroom. Subin Lee was a communications specialist with a gift for languages. Donghyun Choi could hack almost any system in the Academy, though he was careful to use this talent only in training exercises. Minji Kang was the top student in tactical analysis, with a mind that could see patterns others missed. I saw the recording, Minji said, her voice angry. That Vaxian should be sent home. They won't do that, Donghyun said, typing on his portable screen. His father is some kind of war hero. The Academy will give him a warning at most. Tejo placed a small device on the table that projected a rotating image of the Academy's battle simulation arena. I don't want him sent home. I want him to learn something. Subin leaned forward. What's the plan? The Vaxian delegation is here to observe our combat training, Tejo explained. I'm going to challenge Krill to a team battle in the simulation arena. Donghyun looked up from his screen. Those are reserved for senior officers and advanced cadets. We won't get permission. Tejo smiled. We don't need permission if someone with senior access invites us. Can you get into the scheduling system? Donghyun's fingers flew across his screen. Maybe. What kind of simulation are we talking about? Standard team elimination, Tejo said. 4 against 4. Minji shook her head. Tejo, Vaxians train for combat from childhood. They're natural warriors with enhanced reflexes. True, Tejo agreed. But they're also predictable. They always follow the same battle tactics because those tactics have always worked for them. They've never needed to adapt. Subin smiled as she understood. And adaptation is the human specialty. Exactly, Tejo said. Donghyun, can you access the Vaxian combat records? I want to study their standard formations. Donghyun nodded. Already downloading them, but there's something else we need to discuss. If we challenge them and lose, it will look bad for all humans at the Academy. Tejo's face grew serious. We won't lose. Not if we work together and follow the plan I have in mind. What plan? Minji asked. Tejo pointed to the projection. The simulation arena can be programmed with different environments. Most species train in standard battle conditions. But I've been studying something different. He touched the projector, and the image changed to show a complex landscape with hills, valleys, and dense forest areas. Guerrilla warfare, Minji said with growing excitement. Fighting from hidden positions against a stronger enemy. Humans have been perfecting these tactics for thousands of years, Tejo said. While most species develop technology to make frontal assaults more effective, we developed ways to win when outnumbered and outgunned. Subin looked concerned. The Vaxians won't agree to a simulation that favors us. They won't see it that way, Tejo said. To them, any environment is good for showing off their strength. They won't realize the advantage it gives us until it's too late. Donghyun looked up from his screen with a grin. I'm in the system. We have the battle simulation arena reserved for tomorrow at exactly 1500 hours. Perfect, Tejo said. That will be exactly 4 minutes after I plan to issue the challenge. Minji narrowed her eyes. Is that what you meant when you said 4 minutes to Krill? Tejo nodded. By this time tomorrow, everyone at the Academy will know not to underestimate humans again. The grand dining hall of the Galactic Military Academy could seat over 1,000 beings from across the known universe. Special sections catered to different biological needs. Heated tables for cold-blooded species, gravity adjusters for those from heavy or light worlds, and separate areas for those whose food might be toxic to others. Taeho and his friends sat at the human table, which was smaller than most. Of the Academy's 5,000 cadets, only 25 were human. Humans had joined the Galactic Alliance later than most species and were still proving themselves. At the head table sat the visiting Vaxian delegation, with Krill in a position of honor next to the Academy's director. The red mark on Taeho's face had faded, but the memory of the incident remained fresh in everyone's mind. "He looks pleased with himself," Subin said, glancing at Krill. "Not for long," Taeho replied. He checked his device. "It's time." Taeho stood up and walked toward the center of the hall. Conversations died down as cadets noticed him. By the time he reached the open area between the tables, the hall had grown quiet. "Honored visitor Krill," Taeho said, his voice carrying across the hall. "On behalf of the human cadets, I wish to thank you for your visit to our academy." Krill looked surprised, then suspicious. "You are welcome, human cadet." "To show our appreciation," Taeho continued, "we would like to invite you and 3 members of your choice to participate in a training exercise with us in the battle simulation arena." Murmurs spread through the hall. The Vaxian's eyes narrowed. "What kind of training exercise?" "A simple team elimination simulation," Taeho said. 4 against 4. To demonstrate combat techniques from our different worlds. Krill laughed, a harsh sound that echoed in the quiet hall. "You wish to fight against Vaxian warriors? Have you learned nothing from our encounter yesterday?" "I learned a great deal," Taeho said calmly. "Now I hope to learn more through structured combat training. Unless you feel such an exercise would be beneath you?" The last words were spoken softly, but they hit their mark. Krill's face darkened. "We accept your challenge, human," he growled. "Select your team. We will meet you in the simulation arena." Director Voss, a tall Centaurian with 4 arms, stood up. "This is irregular, Cadet Kim. The simulation arena is reserved for—" "The schedule shows it is available, Director," Taeho said respectfully. "Commander Davis approved our request yesterday." This wasn't exactly true, but Dong Hyun's work in the system would make it appear so. The director looked uncertain, but nodded. "Very well, as an educational exercise only." "Of course," Taeho agreed. "The simulation will begin in precisely 4 minutes. We look forward to learning from your expertise." As Taeho walked back to his table, whispers filled the hall. Several cadets were already placing bets on their devices, with the odds heavily favoring the Vaxians. "Did you see his face when you said 4 minutes?" Donghyun asked, struggling not to laugh. "He didn't make the connection," Minji said. "But he will." Commander Ji-young hurried over to their table. "What are you doing?" she demanded in a low voice. "Battle simulations against senior warriors? This is madness." "It's just training, Commander," Taeho said innocently. "How else will we learn?" Ji-young wasn't fooled. "Those Vaxians have fought in real wars. They'll humiliate you." "Maybe," Taeho admitted. "But we have to try. For all humans at the academy." Ji-young stared at him, then at the others. "You've planned something, haven't you?" "Nothing against regulations," Subin assured her. Ji-young sighed. "I'll be watching. If things get out of hand, I'll end the simulation, myself." As she walked away, Taeho turned to his team. "Let's go. We need to be in position when they arrive." The 4 humans left the dining hall together, watched by hundreds of curious eyes. No one gave them much chance against the Vaxians, but something in their confident walk made a few cadets wonder if the odds might be wrong. The battle simulation arena was a massive dome with walls that could project any environment. When Krill and his team entered, they found themselves in a dense forest with patches of mist swirling between tall trees. Hills rose in the distance, and a stream cut through the middle of the arena. "What is this?" demanded Krill, looking around with disgust. "We fight in open ground, not this wilderness." Taeho stood with his team on a small rise. They wore light armor and carried basic weapons, nothing like the heavy gear the Vaxians had brought. "This is a standard mixed terrain," Taeho explained. "It offers advantages to different fighting styles." The arena's AI voice announced, "Simulation will begin in 30 seconds. Team elimination rules apply. When a combatant would sustain critical damage, they will be marked as eliminated and removed from the simulation." Krill pointed at Tejo. "I will deal with you personally, human." "I look forward to it," Tejo replied. He turned to his team. "Remember the plan." The countdown reached 0 and a tone sounded. The Vaxians immediately formed a tight square formation and began moving forward, their heavy weapons ready. The humans appeared to scatter in panic. "Pathetic," Krill said to his team. "They run before we even attack." In the control room above, the arena, cadets and instructors crowded around the screens. Commander Ji Young watched with concern as the humans disappeared into the trees. "What are they doing?" asked a reptilian instructor. "Running away is not a strategy." "Wait and see," Ji Young said, though her own heart was racing with worry. Inside the arena, the Vaxians pushed forward confidently. Then strange sounds began to echo through the forest, high-pitched wails and deep rumbles that seemed to come from all directions. "What is that noise?" one of the Vaxians asked, turning his head sharply. "Ignore it," Krill ordered. "It's a distraction." But the sounds grew louder, changing in ways that made the Vaxians' ear membranes vibrate painfully. Their species had sensitive hearing that could detect enemies from far away, a strength that Subin had turned into a weakness. "Split up," Krill ordered, signaling 2 of his warriors to circle around. "Find the source of the noise." This was exactly what Minji had predicted they would do. As the Vaxians separated, they became easier targets. Dong Hyun, hidden in a tree, activated a small device that interfered with the Vaxians' communication systems. Now they could only talk to each other when close by. The first Vaxian fell when he crossed the stream. Minji had calculated the exact spot where he would step and placed a virtual mine there. The simulation marked him as eliminated, and his form faded from the arena. "Ambush!" Krill shouted, but his warning didn't reach the others through the compromised comm system. The second Vaxian was eliminated when Subin mimicked the sound of Krill's voice, calling him toward a dead end where Dong Hyun waited with a stun weapon. Thus a third fell to a trap that Minji had set, a pit covered with leaves that the simulation made real. As he fell, Tejo fired a perfect shot that the system counted as a critical hit. In the control room, the audience watched in stunned silence. The humans hadn't engaged in direct combat once. Instead, they had turned the environment itself into a weapon. Now only Krill remained, moving carefully through the forest, his anger making his skin pulse with dark purple light. "Face me like a warrior," he shouted. "I am facing you." Tejo's voice came from behind him. Krill spun around, firing his weapon but hit nothing. The voice had been a recording, played through one of Dong Hyun's devices. "Cowards," Krill roared. "Is this how humans fight? With tricks and hiding?" "We fight to win," Tejo said, stepping out from behind a large tree. He stood alone, holding only a small sidearm against Krill's heavy weapon. Krill laughed. "Finally, now you will learn respect, human." "I respect all species," Tejo said calmly, "including yours. That's why I studied how Vaxians fight." "Then you know you cannot win," Krill said, raising his weapon. "I know you always aim for the center of mass," Tejo replied, "and that your weapons have a recharge delay of 1.3 seconds. Between shots," Krill fired, but Tejo was already moving, diving to the side. The shot missed, and before Krill could fire again, Tejo had rolled to his feet and fired 3 quick shots. One at Krill's weapon, one at his knee joint, and one at his shoulder. The simulation registered all 3 hits. Krill's weapon stopped working, and his movement slowed as the system simulated injuries. He looked at Tejo with shock. "How?" "Humans don't have your strength," Tejo explained, moving closer. "So we study our enemies and find their weaknesses." "Dishonorable," Krill spat. "Effective," Tejo corrected. He fired one final shot, and the simulation marked Krill as eliminated. The arena fell silent as the system announced, "Simulation complete. Human team victorious. Elimination time, 3 minutes, 42 seconds. In the control room, no one spoke for several seconds. Then applause broke out, spreading until the room echoed with it. "What just happened?" asked a confused Zenthan. Cadet Commander Ji Young smiled. "Humans happened." The news spread through the academy faster than a quantum transmission. By dinner time, every cadet and instructor had either watched the recording or heard about the shocking outcome. 4 human cadets had defeated 4 Vaxian elite warriors in less than 4 minutes without a single human casualty. Taeho and his team sat at their usual table in the dining hall, trying to act normal despite the stares and whispers around them. Several cadets from other species had stopped by to congratulate them or ask questions about their tactics. "You're famous now," Subin said quietly to Taeho. "How does it feel?" Taeho shrugged. Fame wasn't the goal. Understanding was. "Well, I think they understand now," Minji said, nodding toward a group of Zenthan cadets who were watching them with new respect. The hall fell quiet as Director Voss entered with the Vaxian delegation. Krill walked stiffly, his pride clearly wounded. They made their way to the main table without looking at the human section. Commander Ji Young came over and sat down next to Taeho. "The director wants to see all of you after dinner," she said. "Don't worry, you're not in trouble. Quite the opposite, actually." "How are the Vaxians taking it?" Donghyun asked. Ji Young glanced at the main table. "Their commander is actually impressed. He said it's been centuries since anyone defeated a Vaxian squad so completely. Krill is less pleased, of course." "Will there be problems?" Taeho asked. "No," Ji Young assured him. "The Vaxians value strength above all. You proved humans are strong, just in a different way than they are." After dinner, the 4 humans went to the director's office. To their surprise, an elder Zenthan was there. Council member, Thaz, one of the oldest and most respected members of the Galactic Council. "These are the humans?" Thaz asked, his ancient voice crackling. "Yes, council member," Director Voss confirmed. "Cadet Kim and his team." Thaz moved closer, studying them with eyes that had seen centuries of galactic history. "I watched your battle simulation," he said. "Most interesting." "Thank you, sir," Taeho replied. "Many species in the galaxy still wonder if humans belong in our alliance," Thaz continued. "They see your short lives and physical limitations as weaknesses." The humans remained silent, waiting. "But I have studied Earth's history since you joined the alliance," Thaz said. "Your species survived and thrived on a planet with some of the most diverse and challenging conditions we've seen. You developed thousands of different fighting styles, adapting to every situation." "We had to adapt to survive," Taeho explained. Thaz nodded. "Most species in the Alliance evolved with few natural predators, or with such physical advantages that they never needed to develop your kind of tactical thinking." "Is that why you came to the Academy, sir?" Minji asked. "To observe humans?" "I came because I believe humans will change how the Alliance fights its wars," Thaz said. "After today, others will begin to believe it too." 2 weeks later, Krill approached Taeho in the training yard. The human cadets were practicing hand-to-hand combat techniques adapted for their smaller size. "Cadet Kim," Krill said formally. Taeho straightened. "Yes, sir?" "I wish to apologize for my behavior when we first met," Krill said, the words clearly difficult for him. "It was unworthy of a warrior." "Apology accepted," Taeho said. Krill hesitated, then asked, "The 4 minutes you mentioned after I struck you, you planned it all from that moment?" Taeho nodded. "Humans respond to threats in different ways. Some fight back immediately, others plan and wait for the right moment." Krill considered this. "My people would benefit from learning such patience. Perhaps you could teach me some of your tactics before we leave?" "I'd be honored," Taeho said. As the Vaxian walked away, Commander Ji Young approached. "Well done," she said. "You've accomplished something remarkable here." "What's that?" Taeho asked. "You've changed how at least one species sees humans," she said. "That's how real progress happens in the Alliance, one mind at a time." 6 months later, when border skirmishes broke out with a newly discovered aggressive species, The Galactic Alliance Military Command received an unusual request. Several fleet commanders specifically asked for human tactical advisors to be assigned to their ships. And at the Academy, a strange new tradition began. Whenever a human cadet was insulted or challenged by another species, they would calmly check their watch or device. More often than not, the challenger would quickly apologize and walk away, because everyone at the Academy now knew what could happen when a human started counting minutes.